Good morning, everybody. Getting up earlier, this morning anyway, was not as painless as it sounded. I was very tired this morning. I did not want to get out of bed. I got out of bed just a little after 8. So I'm about to do the running that I said I was going to do. I'm going to keep exercising. I'm going to do a longer run today, hopefully. Ooh, I'm not really looking forward to it, if I'm being honest, but I'm going to do a 30-minute run this morning. And then I need to figure out how I'm going to do this lumbar. I'm still not entirely sure how I'm going to do it, so hopefully... I was thinking about it a little bit as I went to bed. I didn't get any awesome insights, so I'll think about it some more as I go running, and hopefully we'll figure it out. I'm trying to get this one done pretty quick. I would like to get it done today if I can, but I gotta figure that out. So let's go run. All right, just got back from a run. Ran 3 miles, just over 3 miles in 30 minutes, which is actually not super fast, but I'm back. And while I was out, I was thinking about gonna come back and smoke some weed in order to try to figure out this thing. But as I was running, I figured it out, so maybe there's some benefit to exercise. Maybe it does get you a little high, like I've said before. Anyway, I got an idea different than what I initially said, so I'm going to go try to execute on that and see how it looks when I do that. So let's go see how attempt 2 of the lumbar looks. Alright guys, let me show you the new design I got here. So first off, I got this thing called lumbar base, and here I've decided to put this all as one piece so I can add. So I'm just building this piece because this is a very complicated piece to build. Then I'm going to have a couple layers, probably 2 or 3 of these on the lumbar. And then the only parts that'll be kind of custom is the struts that go in between these from, well, let me show you how it's going to work. So this part right here is going to attach into the sagittal joint of the lumbar. So I have that over here. So this is in the actual lumbar over here, not just the part. So that's that part right there. So that goes around onto that, which is going down onto the pelvis there. I think I said lumbar, sorry about that. So this lumbar, this part right here goes down to the pelvis, and will also go up to the, that just goes straight down to the pelvis. So and then it'll be kind of stacked up, and what'll happen is these are all spinning around one point. So there's a point in here where your spine would be. So it's spinning, this is spinning through that, the sagittal joint is spinning through that, and then it comes around. And then sliding on this is the transverse joint, which is also going around that same point. And then these are the frontal joints, these and these are the frontal joints, and those go around the same joint as well. So they're all on this plane, and it's all on one point right here in the middle. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be some angled struts that go on and attach onto these parts, and that come up and over like this. So they'll angle around my body and come in and attach here, and then off the sides there'll be another part that angles up, and then another one of the parts that go outside of this, and then another one so then there'll be a part that goes here. That's the next thing I need to build, is the part that goes here, very similar to this piece right here. So essentially there'll be another one of these things to hold this. So there'll be these struts that come up and around and wrap around, and then they'll be holding another one of those, and then another one of this entire unit will slide into there. And so that way they're all in one piece, and then you just have these curved pieces running in between them. And on those curved struts is where I'm going to build the skin off of as well. That's the plan right now. I think this will work. Alright, I've got the framing done on the lumbar. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to change some stuff on draft 2, or on draft 3 for sure. Let me show you what I got. Alright guys, here we are, done with the framing. So this is kind of what it looks like right now. Still a little bit tight in here. There's about 5 degrees of motion here, and then about 5 back. So overall you're getting 10 degrees of motion on that middle joint, around this joint right here. Pretty decent. One thing I'm going to change in the future is I have these both, like this is one going this way, and then these parts are a single piece, right? So there's like a U-shaped piece that's cupping that way, and then a single piece going through there, and I have a cup going this way and a cup going this way. And what I'm going to do on the next one is I'm going to have them all going straight up, because that makes a lot more sense. It standardizes it. So instead of this being a double one, it would just be a single one coming off into the torso. That's one thing I'm going to do. The other thing I'm going to do is, if you notice right here, there's these bars coming across here, and they end up with the way the bolt-on system goes. There's enough space in here that I think I'm not really saving any space, because the idea is, because this is so tight, is if we look right over here, is that there's not a lot of, the idea is you want to be able to put your hand down, your arm down on the side of your body, right? So So what we're gonna do is I'm trying to keep all of this as small as possible so that you can lay your arm down on the side of your body. You feel me? So what I was trying to do is I was trying to make it just one joint here and kind of have both of the two deep and superficial kind of come into one. But I don't think that is going to end up making any difference. So I think what I'm probably going to do, and that's like, again, like I said, that's because of the way this bolt-on system works. So I think what I'm going to do on draft 3 is instead of just doing one of these, I'm just going to go ahead and do 2, which in a way actually simplifies it. Even though it's more complicated in the fact that there's more joints, it actually makes it easier than trying to make it this complicated thing where this comes around and, you know, there's no joint. It's just kind of like duplicating it instead of trying to figure out 2 different systems. So in a way, it actually makes things easier. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. There's a lot of space in here and a lot of space in here, so I don't know. What I might do is like do some kind of like part that compresses, like a part that's maybe a part that comes out from down here and comes down and then slides up in here or something like that. And the skin to kind of keep it like it's like a part that comes up and then slides back down or something like that to protect that part. I'm not entirely sure. And then the other thing I need to figure out is if I'm going to put some kind of foam around it. These ended up being the same 2 pieces, and these ended up being the same 2 pieces. So that makes it easier just to go ahead and use the same thing twice. It does, however, it doesn't add much taper in here, you know, so it's maybe not quite as pretty looking, but it doesn't look bad, I don't think. I actually think it looks kind of cool attached together. It actually looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. Comment below and tell me if you think it looks badass as fuck. Alright guys, that's it for today. I think this is the 4th day I've been working on the lumbar. I'm not sure if I'm going to do foam on it, so I don't know if we'll call it completely done. We're definitely done with the framing. So I'm done with the frame, the skeleton part of the thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to say I'm done completely with the lumbar yet. I just need to think about it. That's what I'm going to do the rest of the day. I'm going to kind of think of it, chew on it, let it kind of go over it in my head. If I am done, I mean, the foam won't take that long if I decide to add that to it. I'll need to adjust a couple of things, but that shouldn't be too bad. I can probably just do it right in the base because I made that as like its own file, then brought it into the file you saw, so I can adjust that up front. It'll change both of them, which is nice. So I can probably add like any parts if I need like a place to, what I'm talking about is if I need a place to bolt in foam support to where it actually would touch, I need to put bolt holes on for that. So that should be pretty easy to do if that's what I decide to do. And then the other thing I'm going to add to it, so it's actually not completely done, there's one little thing I want to add, which is a part in the middle that actually like holds the 2 pieces together, because really right now the only thing holding it together is the parts where it bolts on. And then there's nothing else on that that's holding it together, because so essentially what I want is just like a little like lock and key that goes together to keep it from translating around. It'll do everything but actually bolt down, so you'd be able to like pull on it and there wouldn't be anything holding it against tension, but if you like pushed on it, would keep all the translation in this thing, and then obviously if you pushed on it, it wouldn't be able to push it through the other piece of metal. But the only thing it would do is you wouldn't be able to pull it. You get like, okay, so if some bad guy grabbed Iron Man, you might be able to rip it off. But other than that, you wouldn't be able to do it. I could put a bolt on it, but I think that's just adding unnecessary bolts. I don't think it's necessary to put a bolt there. I've already counted. On what I've built so far, there are 28 bolts. That's just what I put together so far. 28 bolts to put on that. Everything you just saw. I haven't done the head, I haven't done the neck, I haven't done any of the limbs. Quite a few bolts already, so I'm not trying to necessarily add bolts unnecessarily. Eventually, when I have a machine, I can make even finer detail than stuff that would come out on a water jet cutter. There'd be like a little hooking mechanism, and the idea for what I'm thinking on like the Mark II or something like that, one where you would like fold onto, kind of like when Iron Man like got out of having a robot put it on him and he was just a suit that could stand alone. It's going to be hinged and come in, and there'd be some kind of motor in there that would move a series of gears, pulleys, whatever, and it would just kind of lock everything down, all these hooks, and they would latch everything down. And then then one motor or a series of motors could lock everything down and do it, and then so it'd be automated with the doors with the handles on a Tesla or some shit like that. I don't know. But so anyway, I'm not really trying to make it more complicated, going that way by adding more bolts that way. I think it's going pretty well. I like the way things are looking on this thing. So anyway, I'm going to think about it. I probably will end up putting some foam on it, because what I'm worried about is like a part of it like shifting and like pushing up into me, or like just shifting funny. So if there's a little bit of pressure around it, I think that'd be the best way to do it. So I probably will put foam on it. And the other thing I need to remember is I've been completing these things. I haven't finished the skin. The only part I put like any kind of like, when I say skin, I kind of mean armor or anything that goes on the outside of the suit. The only place I've done that is on that hip where you have that sliding piece right here. That's the only place I've actually done that. I need to go through it. I'm gonna do it on the trunk as a unit at the end. So that I have to do at the end. So all these timetables, what I need to do is then take the number of days it takes me to finish the skin and kind of divide that across all of them. So it's gonna add a little bit of time to these. But like I said, looking at about 4 days right now, and then I need to finish it up tomorrow. Do a couple things. I might fuck with it tonight. We'll see what happens. But we're getting close on the lumbar, which is exciting. Done with the framing. So that means I'll be starting the head next, which will be really cool looking. I'm gonna spend a lot of time. It's not a very complicated part. It's one layer thick, so there's not a double layer on the head. It's all going to be built into one layer. At least that's the plan right now. So there won't be a deep and superficial frame on the helmet. It'll just be the helmet. So in that sense, it won't be very complicated in terms of like what I'm building into it. Like there won't be like a whole bunch of exomuscles attaching into it or anything, and really there'll be like one. But for the most part, there won't be a whole lot of that. What there will be is it'll be very well sculpted. It'll fit me I want it to look really good. I want the head the Iron Man's helmet is very iconic, and I want to do that justice. And even though I'm going to do it a second time, or I guess a third time on draft 2, I still want this one to look good. So the helmet may take a while to get really pretty, but it won't be super complicated. And then after that, it'll be the neck, and then we'll start on the arms, starting with the shoulder girdle. So the head is going to be somewhat time consuming. The neck will be somewhat time consuming. Sorry about that, guys. My camera overheated again. I need a new camera. Anyway, I was talking about how doing the head, then the neck, then the shoulder girdle, arm, leg. Then I'll be done. Anyways, come back tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. You guys are awesome. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.